evening and welcome to Face Off, a program that brings to you diverse views on issues in various sectors of the economy. Now, Section 47 of the 1999 Constitution states, there shall be a National Assembly for the Federation which shall consist of a Senate and a House of Representatives. The Assembly is bicameral legislature established under Section 4 of the Nigerian Constitution. Section 48 and 49 says that the Senate shall consist of 3 senators from each state and 1 from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, while 360 are members of House of Representatives. The body, modeled after the Federal Congress of the United States, is supposed to guarantee equal representation of the states irrespective of size, and the Senate and proportional representation of population in the House. The National Assembly, like many other organs of the Nigerian government, is based in the Federal Capital, Abuja. The Assembly has broad oversight functions and is empowered to establish committees of its members to scrutinize bills and the conduct of government officials. Now, since the restoration of the democratic rule in 1999, the Assembly has been said to be a learning process that has witnessed the election and removal of several presidents of the Senate, allegations of corruption, slow passage of private members' bills, and the creation of ineffective committees to satisfy numerous interests. One major point of the concern in the nation's National Assembly is the high cost of maintaining the federal lawmakers. It is so high that the total emolument of a Nigerian senator is more than $400,000 US. That's said to be comparable to the US president's annual income. Now, incidentally, while the National Assembly is seen as the bedrock of the structural problems of the country, the issue of the cost of maintaining a lawmaker refuses to go away. As the lawmakers remain on the circuit for another review of the Constitution, there are suggestions that the bicameral legislature is sustainable in the face of dwindling economic fortunes and massive corruption. Last year, the governor of the central bank, Lamido Sanusi, drew attention to the high cost of maintaining the lawmakers. He had said that 158.9 billion naira spent on legislatures overhead translated to 25% of the total federal overhead expenditure in 2010. The lawmakers have been accused of greed and insensitivity, especially when they could not approve 18,000 naira as national minimum wage. Amidst call for part-time legislature in an attempt to reduce the high expenditure and check corruption, there have been no doubt it will work in a presidential system where the executive is strong, as they say that the legislature checks the exercise of the executive and so should be full-time. Senator Itangenang of Akwa Ibom Northeast Central Senatorial District admits that the bicameral legislature is too expensive, but it cannot be dumped overnight. Tonight, we shall be looking at the part-time legislature and whether the time is ripe for a national conversation on the way out of this money-gulping system of government. This is Face Off. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, I will introduce 2 of my guests. Of course, one will be supporting the part-time, the other has something against running a full-time system. Welcome back. This is Face Off, and tonight we're looking at the National Assembly as it is presently constituted and what they do. Should it be a part-time affair or a full-time? I've got 2 people in the house. The first, Honorable Solomon Edoja. He believes or wants the Assembly to run on a part-time basis.
Correct.
Just come in, do 1 or 2 things, drive out, go do your job.
That's it.
And I have Mr. Wasiu Logo, who thinks, Haba, it should be a full-time job.
It's a very serious business.
It's a serious business. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You know the rules.
Good evening, guys.
I introduced you first, so I'll allow you give us your opening statement on this issue. Then we'll go to Honorable Doja. Mr. Wasiu, please.
Thank you very much. The only reason why we're having so much problem in Nigeria today is a result of the incompetence of our legislative arm, because that's the only arm of government that has always been having a lot of problems since independence. whenever the military comes in, you will have the executive and you have the judiciary. They are always intact, and there is continuity. But in the case of the legislative arm, during the military era, what you have is a Supreme Military Council and so on. But each time there is democracy, you have them, it will be cut off again if another military government comes. So that's why the inexperience is so much and it's very, very clear. And that's why we're having so much problem, even in passing bills. And
that is why you think we should have a full-time legislature?
Yes.
Okay.
They need to be full.
Okay. Honorable Solomon.
Good evening, viewers. Unfortunately, I don't seem to carry on with such view. The legislative arm is a serious business. It's not supposed to be meant for applicants or charlatans. It's an institution that are meant to be for honorable men. And when you say somebody is honorable, it means somebody who is prepared to forgo something, somebody who is prepared to sacrifice. And so the legislative arm is supposed to be men and women who are supposed to be honorable, and that's why they call them honorable. Otherwise, the word honorable or distinguished senator, they don't exist in the Constitution. Okay. But the functions they carry out means that they are ready to make sacrifice for the country. And one of such sacrifice is there, even in the Constitution, Section 104 and Section 63, provides that they shall serve for a period of not less than 181 days. Okay. So ab initio, they were already on part-time, because any job you are going to do for 181 days in a year presupposes that that job is already part-time. Okay. So it's not arguable.
Good. So fantastic. So before you begin to fire on all cylinders, now you ask Mr. Wasiu your first question, yes, so that we can really set this ball rolling.
Well, my Honorable Wasiu, I will want to ask, why do you think that the National Assembly or the legislative arm suddenly become very attractive?
The reason why the legislative arm suddenly became very attractive is just because of our past experience. Past experience in the sense that once you are there, the slogan in the past is that just go there, pass whatever you have to pass, and you get the bag, which we have seen in the beginning, 1999. I mean the fourth assembly, yes, when this crisis of between the speaker and the then president was on, they paraded Ghana must go and so on and so forth. So another person believed that whether you have the experience or not, whether you are competent or not, whether you have the educational background to support whatever you are doing, they just believe that just go there and bring the money. And also majority of them are sponsored by their godfathers from various areas. So they just believe that...
Is that what makes it attractive?
Yes, because they just believe that going there, it is about money and not about legislative work.
The reason why they shouldn't spend time there...
Yes. So if, in other words, if they are going there for pure business, if they are going there for pecuniary interest, so why do the nation have to waste their time and resources to have a bunch of...
What I'm saying is that there should be a change. Just wait.
Just wait. To ensure...
He doesn't have to wait. This is face-off.
Yes.
So just go ahead with your point.
What I'm saying is that if you make it a full-time thing, just like what you're having in local
government, that's what they have now.
You just wait. It's not if you make it a full-time thing.
The Constitution makes it part-time, but they have made themselves full-time. That's the issue on ground now.
Because the work is much. You have just mentioned. You have just mentioned the plenary session.
3 jobs.
You have just mentioned the plenary session of 181 days.
Yes.
After 365 days. That is not the only thing that is expected of legislators.
Yes, 3 main functions.
Yes. Outside the plenary sitting,
yes,
there are committee sittings.
Yes.
And an average member belongs to minimum of maybe 3 or 5 committees.
So what sacrifice do you make that qualifies you to be called a honorable? Because what we recognize, what the nation recognizes, that you are a member of the National Assembly, period. What sacrifice are you making to be called a honorable if for every hour you spend, you want to be remunerated? So what sacrifice do you make?
Look, what is there is that whether they are making sacrifice or not,
they must make the job to end that job.
Otherwise,
we just go to the market and get academicians to make laws for us.
No, legislative work is not.
If they are not going to make sacrifice, then we can
what is there is very, very simple. And every person in that place is supposed to come from a grassroots.
Okay.
A federal constituency.
Yes.
Now, this person should be a person residing in that constituency that knows where it pinches them.
Yes.
And to represent them, so that when any decision is being taken in Nigeria, they know that their representative is also there. Is also part of the
that
decision.
what is happening now?
There will be a change.
When?
There will be a change. That's the reason why you said this is more or less a learning process.
For 13 years?
Yes, yes.
So any student who repeats a class for 13 years, is
that
what called a student? If after 13 years you are still learning?
You cannot compare an ideology.
We don't have to compare.
You cannot compare an ideology. Somebody that is already
we
system that is sick in the brain.
No, you don't have to compare.
I want to change it as if you are in school. No,
but let me ask you,
Okay.
I think let me help him. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
I'm not supporting about.
You can support. You are free to do that.
I don't have to support. But I think let me ask. If you admit that there's so much. Okay, he admit that they come from a constituency. They know what the constituency wants. Blah blah blah. Nigeria is really growing. Constituencies are growing, and the people are growing. Their needs are growing.
Yes, they are becoming more civilized. They are opening.
These guys need a lot of time in there to sit down and analyze this problem, because even the process of having a bill passed.
See, let me tell you.
You have to keep monitoring
The legislator performs 3 major functions.
Good.
1, lawmaking. 2, oversight.
Yes.
3, constituency representation.
Fantastic.
In all this, the one we hear most is the oversight, because that is where my brother meets his demands.
Even the oversight, they are not doing very...
The oversight,
let me tell you.
This oversight,
the oversight,
because they are just doing it now because they recently secured
their... They are not seeing anything.
No, they just secure their independence from the executive. Unlike before, when they were like some of the states of assembly now, where the legislator there are more or less like HACCP, they can't do any oversight. Of course, you know it. Now,
tell me how.
Now, because they are yet to secure their autonomy. Yes, so, but the National Assembly has been able to secure their autonomy. That is why they are having to contend with areas of oversight. Most of these oversight are long-standing relationship with them, because they were both intertwined. The legislative, the executive, they do the same thing. They are involved in.
But Honorable Wasi,
so now,
Honorable Wasi, I mean, part of the excuse for those who say these guys should just go fix yourself a job, or go back to your job, or do your job and do this, is that it's costing a lot to keep these people in that place.
Yes.
Fine, it's costing a lot.
Everybody
is only looking at the National Assembly.
But we have to start somewhere.
Yes. What I'm saying is that there is so much work for them.
They are looking at the National Assembly. You know why?
Yeah.
The reason is that National Assembly, by all standards, in the Trinity I just mentioned to you, in other way, in the Trinity of the separation of power.
I need to understand the Trinity. Yeah.
Okay, we have the executive.
I only understand one Trinity.
Yes, not the God, the Father.
No,
not that one. You have the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. The legislative came first, because they are going to make the law for the executive to execute and the judiciary to interpret. Now, in other words, you are standing
the people.
See, so in that Trinity, wait,
as well as meet the people.
Yes. So in that Trinity,
it does not stop with the executive
in that Trinity,
it's also with the people.
No, in that Trinity, the legislators are up. In other words, you are supposed to be a role model. And you know, he who goes to equity must go with clean hands. If you want to check the executive, and you are comparing yourself with the executive, because the executive is mismanaging fund, or they are earning this, and therefore you want to earn as much as they do, then you are no longer standing on that high moral ground to checkmate them. So
no, isn't that supposed to be the case?
That is not a problem. The problem is one, incompetence.
What reason?
They shouldn't go there now.
Then,
that means we should be choosy when we are. I mean,
when they get elected.
They get elected, but that means the people need.
All the people that elected them put together.
People need to be more sensitized, so that you now know the caliber of person representing you.
But there are rules. I mean,
whether there are rules or not, if your godfather brings a dummy, then you go for someone that you feel that is the best person.
Okay, incompetence. So, let's hear all your explanations.
Yeah, the explanation, even in ordinary auditing, when Public Finance Committee comes out and say, okay, there is a probe, probably from the Auditor General, there is a report that so group of people in the particular government agency that they are found wanting. They will write their report, they will send it to the public affairs. Part of the problem is that majority of the people in that committee are not well grounded in financial analysis.
Okay.
So in most cases, they will not see anything. And because they do not see anything, because they need to have time, if it may be, on the extent to bring somebody that will give them the analysis of all these things since they are not well grounded. But the thing is that we need people, we need
Must
more.
they do that sitting in the house?
No, that's part of their job.
Okay.
Public finance,
Yeah.
they will write a report.
Okay.
Based on the report, that is what they will act on and hold a particular agency responsible. That in your agency there is fraud, and that this is the alarm that has been raised about your activities in your place. So now, people in that committee, that is one of the problems that we're having. That if in choosing members of an average committee, you put people that are well grounded, not that there are no members there that are grounded, but almost everything is politicized. Because they know, another person knows that in that committee.
Will you say that is responsible for the
because they have they don't have time to do their groundwork. That is the problem.
A few of them who
they don't have time to do their groundwork.
That's
why you're having so much probe. Okay, you say you are oversighting. Now, while oversighting, there is a provision for subsidy, probably 250 billion. And you say you are oversighting. And they now spend more than almost 2 trillion.
Yes.
Then what are you oversighting? That means you don't know what you're oversighting.
You seem to be agreeing with him.
No. What I'm saying is this. It's very simple. That look, it is for them to rearrange themselves and make sure that people in the NABRE committee, like for example, health, you cannot put a historian in health committee.
He could do better. You see,
he does not understand the nitty-gritty of health.
It's just
public
like
health.
saying
When you
that
go to the
for you to
grassroots.
be a governor, you must have a political science as first degree.
No,
it doesn't
in
work.
well-advanced crime. In well-advanced crime.
If I understand that.
Okay. Why is it that in judiciary, what you have there is are lawyers? They will not contest it. They will say no.
So,
this person is lawyer.
do you have sanity now in the judiciary because they are all lawyers?
No, what I'm saying
So
is that those are the people that we understand. It is because of our nature in Nigeria.
No,
That's our nature.
We are still learning. Our learning.
We all learn. We all learn.
We are still learning.
See,
Ideology.
learning.
Idea. This idea. This
mentality
has been there. Now it's now left for you. It will take time before you erase this thing. Okay, take for example this do or die thing. Another politician.
My point is, I need to understand your point. Is that why they should go to Abuja and sit down for almost the whole year?
They won't sit down there. He has said it. Part of their work is to go back to their constituency, meet their people. That's why they have given them money to have their constituency office.
Yes.
So that they will have the feel of their people.
Yes.
So that the people will always come there.
They
and
get
meet
money
them.
for constituency.
yes, and they have to spend money. Must we pay for?
That is part of
They
their
get money
time.
for constituency office.
Yes. Now you are giving money
To meet their people.
You see,
Okay, to meet their people.
Yes, it is part of part of their job.
What I'm saying.
Whenever they are not
Then shouldn't they spend more time with the people
Yes.
and go to Abuja maybe once in 2 weeks, maybe twice in a month, after deliberating, meeting with their people?
It does not make it a
partying
part
with them,
time. Yes,
whatever.
it doesn't make it a part
It
time.
makes it a part-time.
It should be a full time thing because meeting their people is part of the job.
What you see, what you are
After
just
meeting their people,
imputing-
they will come back to
you are
Abuja.
imputing
Now,
that
even when there is no plenary, the committees are sitting.
Doing
And every
what?
member
Doing
belongs
what?
to that.
Doing what?
No,
You
the
see,
committees are sitting on every committee.
You see, let us begin to have a model. And when I say have a model, how does this thing work elsewhere in other
If
climes?
the committees don't
in
sit,
other climes.
how will they go to
Nigeria
oversight?
is the only country. No,
Yes.
in
How will
other
they go
climes.
for
Let's take
oversight?
up this issue
Yes.
of how it happens in
Yes, in
other
other
climes.
climes. How
Let's
does
see.
it happen?
I mean,
In the UK, we have parliament. In the US, we have parliament. Do they spend all their time in Washington, or in Washington or in London, debating and sitting in committee, or after meeting they go to their various constituencies and stay with the people? They have to stay with the people because that is the sacrifice. The money they're supposed to spend on this.
It is very easy
Yes.
to compare ourselves with you.
We have to compare ourselves. We have to. We have to.
Because Americans think that.
Why should we not think that way? Because see, as we speak here.
Are we averse to thinking that?
Yes, but we not think that we
our
teach
teachers
there.
are different. That's what I'm saying. We are still learning.
No.
No, we are still learning.
We drive to the
Whether
best
you take it
before
or not.
Toyota comes out in Japan. It's already here in Nigeria. We won't wait.
So we think beauty.
We won't wait for them to drive it before we drive it. anything that is glamorous. We are the first. The most
It doesn't
expensive,
matter. Yes,
the
yes.
most
You
expensive
see,
system in this world
these opinions
today
do not
is
take
being
away.
run in Nigeria.
It's important for us to understand that these arguments do not take
There
away
is no doubt.
our patriotism.
We are very flashy. No, nobody's saying that. What I'm saying is that, look, if you see another person behaving somehow, go and check his or her antecedents, where that person is coming from. And that where that person is coming from, we always have an impact on whatever that person is doing.
Can we not change?
Even if nobody is saying, no, we'll change with time.
Can we not change with better? You
We'll
see,
change with time.
That is
We'll
what
change
our
with time.
father told us, that we'll change with time.
We'll change with
and
time.
When is the time that the change will start? You see, I believe that
We'll change with
anything
time.
at a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step.
Exactly.
And I can tell you that the most important thing we are supposed to do as legislator is to be a forerunner. We are supposed to stand on a high moral ground to dictate the pace of things, to do things the way we want it. If the constitution says we should be on part-time, 181 days, and we went there and assume the position of a full-time, is that not a breach of the constitution in the first instance? Is that not a violation of the oath of office?
You are the one assuming that
Are there assumptions in
section
issues of
63 is
constitution?
very clear.
he is the one assuming.
No,
what I'm
even
saying is this.
Section 70 and section
People are
111
judging
of the
everything by
constitution.
plenary sitting. If you look at only plenary sitting, fine. You say, okay, there's
How many people are there?
Just wait.
No, at
If
each
you
of
see-
this plenary. Now, to tell you that these people are part-time. Because, see, no legislator and nobody what is onion should be elected.
There
to
is no
serve
way
in parliament
they can do a
if you
thorough
are
job
rabble
on
rouser.
part-time.
If you have nothing doing at all, it is not a place
They
to
cannot
jumpstart
do a
life.
thorough job
you
on
are
part-time.
supposed to
No
be doing
thorough job can
something
be done on
before.
part-time.
You are supposed
Thorough
to be
job
doing.
cannot be done on
See,
part-time.
No, what
We have just said it.
It's being done on part-time in
There will be
everywhere
plenary
in the world
sitting.
except Nigeria.
Going to meet your people in your very constituency
Yes.
is part of the work.
Why must you be paid for that? That's what I'm saying. What is the sacrifice that makes them to call you honorable?
Look, sir, look,
Yes.
No,
this
there should be constituency office.
Yes.
Yes.
You are
don't
expecting
expect
that
him to
your
use his house.
sacrifice.
You don't expect him to use his house as
Why
legislative
not?
office. No,
Why
he cannot
not?
use his house.
Because you would have made it. You see, the constitution did not envisage that we are going to send applicants to the National Assembly. It do not envisage that those who want to jumpstart their life are the one we should send there. He envisaged that these are
Some
men
people
and
resign.
women.
Some people resign
who-
from their work.
Yes.
Some people resign from their work.
If you resign,
Yes, people resign. Yes,
They
yes.
have joined the National
Yes,
Assembly.
yes.
Why?
People resign to
Would it be
contest.
for service
Why?
or for other things?
Why?
For service.
No.
Service.
Yes.
Why?
Fantastic.
Why the constitution will not compel you to resign because you already envisaged you are going for it, and that is why nobody sue you. Nobody can